Boom! Therapy Army, let's be having you. Let's be having you, Therapy Army. Let's be having you. Early bird, man, like Jamie Wayne. Big up, new man. Big up, Jamie. Big up to you, lad. Hey. Somebody Rista to Manchester United. Okay. Big up to you, Luke Singh. Yeah. Or it could be Mason Mount. Big up to you, bro. Big up, Sean. How you doing, Sean? You well?
I'm good, Nerdine. How you doing now? Thanks for having me. Big up.
Yeah, big up. Lots of things to get through tonight. It's gonna be a passionate one tonight. So many things to get through.
I can already tell because I was looking at the thumbnail and I already disagree. I already disagree with you from then, like from that.
So many things to get through tonight. Debate. Big up to you though. Listen, how are you doing? How's Sally, California? Yay. What are the police doing, man? What are the police doing to the peaceful students, man? What's wrong with them? What's wrong with the police, man? How far are you from that uni?
UCLA, about 5 hours or so from it. But I obviously I'm following the news, right? And it's not just happening in UCLA; it's happening in other universities around. I feel a little bit conflicted, because on one hand, I think the specter of the police being brought down on peaceful protesters is ridiculous, right? It's like you don't see that being done to literal Nazis when they march on the streets or KKK people when they have their rallies. The police isn't brought down in that way. But at the same time, I think, but just by nature, people who protest, I think, are signing up, especially this kind of protest. I think you should be ready to face the consequences of the actions that you're taking. So if you sit in or if you occupy a building or stuff like that, I think you should be ready to face the consequences, with regards to going to prison or having to encounter police. I don't think there's any way around that. And I think the protesters themselves might see it as a badge of honor that they were able to confront the state, quote unquote, in such a way. So I can see how I can see it from both sides, but I think it's definitely heavy-handed, definitely exposing a lot of the contradictions with regards to free speech. Because people talk a lot of game about free speech, but there's some certain topics obviously that are beyond the pale to discuss in mainstream society. So, but yeah, no, let's do Ten Hag more lighter, if I dare, topics.
Listen, well, we already disagree, but we got special guest people. We got the friend of the channel for a long time from the early days, man. We got our brother, man, Palace, our brother from Palace, Crystal Palace. Man, like Rich, how you doing, Rich?
It's been a while, so I've been so busy with just life. But it's been a while.
Yeah, listen.
I had
Father,
to make sure I shout you,
work. Man. I know how that is. Married life, children.
Yeah.
Following Palace, the ups and downs of Crystal Palace. Gosh. Big up. Listen, big up to Man UFC Realist TV. Make sure you check that channel out. USLA just cancelled the graduation ceremony. Some people that didn't get a high school graduation due to COVID got hit again. Listen, what's going on in America is a mad one, isn't it? We all know, but Sean, I'm quite disappointed at you, man. In terms of you saying that the people who were peaceful protesters who were protesting in college campuses and occupying a bit of grass, not even the buildings, the heavy-handedness from the authorities.
Oh, no, so I agree with you about it being heavy-handed. I'm just saying that
heavy-handed. So what happens then? What do? You get the backup of students. These are young people.
No. So I agree with you that it's heavy-handed. I just feel like if I fashion myself as a radical or revolutionary or anything of that sort, I should expect to have to face police. Like I should expect to have to deal with stuff like that. And you should only people who are willing to face the danger or to take their arguments to its logical conclusion should be involved in such things. Is what I'm getting at. But I agree with you 1,000%. It's heavy-handed. If we saw it in any other country, America would be criticizing that country for responding to protests in such a way. They criticize the Chinese government for the way they handled protests in Hong Kong. they criticize other governments for the way they handle protests, and
Peaceful.
they're doing the
Sean,
exact same thing. Yeah,
Sean,
peaceful.
they were all peaceful. All peaceful.
Yeah.
And they were multi-faith, all people from all different sort of people. Black,
Multi-faith,
white,
multi-ethnic.
Exactly. It's been all of that and very peaceful. But the United States is showing in it how Zionism is Zionism. They will do anything to protect Zionism, mate. That's what it is. But anyway, we want to get into this. But big up to all the students there. Solidarity and love, whether it's in Britain, whether it's that's across the pond. While there's a bloody genocide going on, man. Free Palestine. We say that with our chests. We say it each and every time. We don't give a fuck if we're shadow banned or not, people. We don't give two hoots. Until they shut us down, we will always speak for the oppressed. We will always get against the oppressor. Always. Especially the colonizers, imperialists. We will always fight them. We will always fight them. No meaning any physical violence, people. So don't get giddy. Don't get excited. I mean verbally. We will always take them on. But big up. Listen, let's get into it. We got a Monday night, mate. Monday night, Manchester United. When was the last time Manchester United played on a Monday night? It's been quite a long time, actually, Monday night football. So quite exciting. Big up, man, like Agostino, man. Big up. Big up. Listen, big up to you, brother Agostino. Listen, everybody just sees it different, innit? We all see it different. But to be fair, we do agree, me and Sean, that they were peaceful and he accepts that. And that's how they were brutalized. But big up to everybody. Love and light, everybody. Let's get into this. Crystal Palace versus Manchester United on Monday night. Mumbai is in the house. We'll get a couple of more people in. But yeah, Rich, talk to me. Let's ask about Palace first. Tormentuous, man. Last time I think we spoke and we came on the channel and I came on your channel. Vieri was there. Everything was going good. What happened, man? Let's talk about that a little bit. Just a couple of minutes. Tell us what happened with the Vieri, man. Because everything was going well. He had you playing really good football. You were climbing the table. All of a sudden, boom. Couple of results go against him, and then couple of things happen, and then next minute he's out.
Yeah, basically it's such a long-winded thing, but I'll try and condense it. He didn't get back to the summer. We went on this break before the World Cup happened. We've returned from the World Cup, and our form just dipped. It dips really bad. I think it was basically what had come out is that like some of his methods in training were alienating some of the players. Then he was doing things where they would normally have a certain day off where they could go see family. He scrapped that, so they'll at the training ground like 7 days a week. So there's things behind the scenes that weren't going in his favor, you know. And yeah, he lost his job, and we got Roy Hodgson back, which I wasn't for anyway. Then he stabilized us. We actually played some good football. We survived, and said we're going to keep him for another year. What? And yeah, this season has just been horrendous. It started off okay. I mean, I think the last win before we went really pot is when we beat you at Old Trafford, actually. And then, like I said, it just went downhill. We had a few injuries, and then Roy just decided to play this defensive football, and we couldn't pick up any wins. But how times have changed. I tell you what, this new manager we have right now, he's on business. He's on business. I think you'll be doing.
Yeah, he's on business, yeah? I like it. Like that pressing game, innit? That Gegen pressing. Like that German press, yeah? But what shocked me and surprised me, actually, how intricate the triangles are with your attacking players. How Elise, Esse, and your striker, I always forget his name, man. Mateta. The connections, man. Bang, bang, bang. Like, not all of the team goes up to support the attack. It's three, actually, with a movement and good close control and one-touch football. The way you're going around and how quickly my guys coach that. Like, of course, yeah. We have to take that. It is a new manager bounce. You know what I mean? New manager bounce that happened. But actually, there is some things within the game, because I watched some of your games and the goals, because you've been banging in goals. Matete's on fire. Yeah. Your defense is terrified. Yo, forget that. Our whole fan base is terrified of Mateta right now, bro. You know what I mean? So that's how it's looking. But there are aspects of it, because it's not just like you're not winging it. You're not just putting balls into the box and the ball's bouncing. No. Actually, it's a very intricate style of football. What you're doing on the ball and what you're doing off the ball.
Yeah.
The positionally, what's the kid that you got from Blackburn in midfield?
Adam Wharton. Woo! I tell you what.
Composure.
Him versus Kobe Mainu is what I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yo, the level of composure, this kid, he's got pure composure.
He's so good. And I think the battle, like, if I was Southgate, I'll take a risk and take them both to the Euros. Why not? Mainu and Wharton. I think that midfield battle between them two is going to be fascinating to watch, because they're both very composed on the ball, you know? And yeah, I mean, also we signed Daniel Munoz. We've been crying out for a right back for that the longest, and Daniel Munoz might as well be a right winger. The way he plays football, you know, he just bombs up and down the field. But I think the biggest key, obviously, with Glasgow, two things. He's changed our formation. We now play 3-4-3, and what happens is that we don't have wingers. Eze and Elise players like 10s, and that's why the triangle, like, you'll always see Eze, Mateta, and Elise are really like, it's like that. They're close to each other at all times. And then our width will come from now Tyreek Mitchell and Daniel Munoz, who are our wing backs. The second thing that I've really liked about our manager is he's happy to go and say, listen, and this was even before we played Man City, and this was the stretch we had Man City and Liverpool and that. He said, listen, he was asked, how many games do you need to survive? He was like, I'm trying to win all 8. It's just a mentality. Even I think, what do you call it? His presser today, he was like, I know that Manchester United are a good side, but we're going to win this game. And if we had Roy Hodgson in charge, he'll be talking about how good United are. It's a difficult game. We have to be at our very best to get anything out of it. Glasgow's coming out in press conferences saying, I'm trying to get 3 points here. You know, and that's feeding through down to the players. And the way we're playing, going to Anfield, battering West Ham, beating Newcastle, you know, like, we're doing bits at the minute. Hopefully it continues.
You know what? Listen, become Rich. Your manager can say he's going to smash us because we're that fucking shit, pal, that even new managers can come into this league and look at Manchester United and go, yes, they're going to play basketball, football. If I can limit the aspects of their attacking play, we're going to get loads of chances because we let you have 20 shots on goal. Even we'll have you have 12, 13 shots on goal in one half. So he knows.
Yeah, but let's pump the brakes a little on this gas, this smoke that we're blowing up Glasnow's ass now, right? He's been the new manager at Crystal Palace for 11 games. He's only won 4 out of those 11 games, and they've lost 3 and drawn 4. Right? It's not like they've been just excellent basically since he's there. We're still Crystal Palace we're talking about here.
Right. So this is where I know you haven't watched our games. You've just seen scorelines. Against Luton, sure. We should have been 2-3, 4, 5-0 up. We just didn't take our chances.
Do you know why? Do you know why I wouldn't accept that? I wouldn't accept that argument. It's because it doesn't apply to anyone else. No one else is given that grace of we should have one, could have one.
I'm not saying
if something happened differently, we would have one. Yeah.
I'm not saying giving grace. You're talking about disrespecting my manager. And this is what I'm telling you. We've played.
I'm just calling for like some calm because you know between you and Nuruddin, you know we're talking. You guys are talking like it's Ancelotti we're talking about here. So let's just take it easy.
No one said that. Could I guarantee if Ten Hag was to leave and a new manager came in, you'll be blowing smoke up that manager's backside too. I'm telling you.
No doubt. I'm a hypocrite. Go ahead. Yeah, sure. Right.
No, all I'm saying is that like we've had to suffer Roy Hodgson football. I don't know if you've seen Roy Hodgson's football. So I have to be excited now that I can see my team attack. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, man. Big up. Listen. Big up, Richie. Listen, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Bumbaye, how you doing, Bumbaye?
Good evening, everyone.
You making a cup of tea, kid? You having a
cup
of tea?
No, I was doing a you. I was on mute.
Hey, it is what it is, but you're good, Habibi, yeah? Salam.
Yeah, good man, good.
Good. Listen, big up to you. We got our brother Lesso. How you doing, Lesso?
No, I'm
Can't
all
hear
good,
you,
man.
bro.
And shout out to the
Oh yeah, I
panel
can hear
as
you
well
now.
and to the chat. Smash the like buttons. You can?
Yeah, big up, man.
Okay.
Big up.
No,
Listen,
I'm saying shout out to the
Crystal
panel,
Palace.
everyone who's present, and
Yeah, big up, bro. All the way in Southern Africa, man. It tells me it's freezing out here. It's winter time over there. Damn. Listen, let's get into it, man. Manchester United play Crystal Palace on Monday night. Monday night football. I'm really looking forward to this game. Genuinely, really looking forward to this game.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very interesting. We're going to be talking about Gary Neville's exposing Eric Ten Hag's tactics to his face, literally to his face. We'll talk about that.
We watched two different interviews.
Eric Ten Hag coming out with a almost kind of this fighting kind of like same old bullshit jargon excuses. Like he's the only manager that's had fucking injuries, but it's laughable because Gary literally explained certain things to him and said, when I played for this football club, this is how I played. And Manchester United, the wide guys, would come back and help and tuck in midfield so we don't get exposed. But anyway, we'll get into that. Because Gary Neville said it in his face. And you know what? He can't explain that away. Talk about 30 fucking changes to centre backs all fucking day if you like. Midfield, single pivot, getting over fucking run, committing 6 players forward, and then people having to fucking be 800-meter runners. That's on fucking you, Ten Hag. That's not on somebody else, pal. That's not on nothing to do with the centre backs. That's your tactics. But we'll come into it in a minute. But let's get into it. Crystal Palace versus Manchester United. Crystal Palace defender Mark Gay has recovered from knee injury and could play for the first time in 2 months. Oh, yeah, big player out for you. He's one of the most composed, actually, defenders for Crystal Palace. So that's a big player for them to get back. Ete, who was on risk against Fulham last time out because of a knee issue, is also fit. Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes is in doubt. He's going to play, so I'm not even going to finish that. But he's going to play. Apparently, he's got unspecified problem, but he'll play. Scott McTominay will be assessed, but I think Scott McTominay needs to take it easy. While Johnny Evans and Anthony Martial are back in training after their respective muscle and groin injuries. Wow, Martial plays for Manchester United. Wow.
Yeah, watch out, Palace.
Marcus Rashford remains sidelined. Head-to-head, Crystal Palace are aiming to do the double over Manchester United for the first time. The Red Devils have scored just 1 goal on their last 3 visits to Selhurst Park. This is the 3rd time the teams have met this season. 2 previous encounters came in the space of 5 days. In September, with United winning 3-0 in the EFL Cup and Palace winning 1-0 in the league fixture. Crystal Palace are unbeaten in their last 4 league games, winning 3, drawing 1. Their longest run this season. Palace are a goal short from equaling the club Premier League record for the most home goals scored in a single campaign, 29 in 2017-18. The Eagles have just won one of their last 12-point top-flight fixtures that have been played on a Monday. Wow. You don't do that great on Monday nights. They've drawn 7, lost 4. Palace need to win in all of their remaining 3 games to equal club Premier League record points total of 49 set in 92-93 and equally in 2017-19. Sean Philip Matata has scored in each of his 5 home Premier League appearances under Oliver Glasner, 7 goals in total. Manchester United have won just 1 of their last 6 league games, drawing 4 and losing 1. A 13 Premier League defeat of the season would see them a club new record. More records that Ten Hag is setting, eh? The Red Devils have conceded 77 goals in 47 league and cup this season. Their most since 1977 and 78. Fucking hell. United could lose 5 Premier League away matches in London in a single season for the first time, having already lost to Tottenham, Arsenal, West Ham and Chelsea. Bruno Fernandes has scored 7 goals in his last 6 appearances in all competition. So that's the bit we've got to say. So let's go to Bumbaye, and then I'll go to Sean, then Lesso, and then we'll go back to Richie. Bumbaye, talk to me. What do you expect from this game? Have you been watching Palace? Sexy football from Palace lately, bro. Sexy.
Well, Hussein told me about Palace before they played Liverpool, and I watched the whole game, and I was very impressed with the way that they pressed Liverpool, set traps for Liverpool. You know, really, that first half they busted Liverpool up good and proper, and I mean, whatever they got from that game was well deserved. They were excellent. They were really good. So I think Palace have got the type of ingredients that can harm Man United. Um, good on the break. They press, and when they press, we usually start going long because we struggle with that. But I'm really looking forward to this fixture, especially the way Palace are playing, and it's at their ground as well. So be a difficult game, and we've got a lot of injuries too. Not making excuses, but that's the reality that the defense is totally gone. I don't know who's going to play at the back. Even Kwambala's gone. So I'm not sure how that looks. He's brought in one of a young boy from the academy, maybe at left back. Obviously Bruno, yeah, you say he'll play. He's hit and miss, but is he fully fit? I don't know. Rashford's out. McTominay, same, probably going to sit this one out. So it's a difficult game, and you just take it game by game at this point, just see how we finish the season. But it's going to be tough, this game, man. And I'm looking forward to watching Palace as much as I'm looking forward to watching United, because I really enjoyed that game at Liverpool that I watched. So I think Eze, Elise, they're really good. I really like the way Eze glides. The way he plays, the way he moves. It's just he's very easy on the eye. Mateta, Mateta is funny. I mean, he's good. He's all right, but I don't know if Rich understands what I mean. He's a bit of a battering ram as well. He reminds me a bit of Awaniyi for Forest, but he's doing his thing. So big up to him, and he's effective for them. And that's about it from me, really, man. I'm just looking forward to the game, to be honest.
Big up. Sean, how do you see the game playing out?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park has been a difficult game for United for a couple of years now. So, I don't expect this to be any different. I'm not going to put too much stock in this, like, football, very good football that Crystal Palace is supposedly playing right now. Because, like I said, it's been 11 games. Basically, after somebody like Roy Hodgson, anything looks like good football as well. So I can see how like Crystal Palace fans would be very excited for what's going on right now. I also think there's a lot of like smoke that is being blown. So I'm laughing at Postecoglou. I'm laughing at a lot of all these like so-called good football managers that are flailing essentially right now. Because I think a lot of this discussion I think is overrated and unfair. I expect it to be a very difficult game, very, very difficult game, especially because Crystal Palace is in form. And like I said, Selhurst Park has always been a difficult place for United to go to. Even while it was Roy Hodgson that was the manager last season, we dropped points there. I think seasons ago, we've always it has been a difficult place for us to play. So this shouldn't be too different right now. So it's going to be a tough game. If we win, it wouldn't be because we outplayed them or anything like that. I think if we win the game, it would be because there's just extra bit of quality that United have, in the team that could see us through, to get 3 points in this game. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we drop points either by a draw or a loss, because Crystal Palace is a tough team. Selhurst Park is a difficult place to go. They are in form. There's new manager bounce. They have young players who are exciting, who themselves are excited. Don't have much to play for other than for the fun of things right now. So it's going to be a very difficult game for United, like all in all. And I wouldn't be surprised if we drop points.
Let's go. What are you expecting?
Nah, you know what? What I think about the game, I think personally, it's obviously gonna be tough. We're playing a good Crystal Palace side that's obviously just had a good manager. They've just had a new manager bounce and everything. So the confidence is there, and let's not forget that we have no fear factor anyway. So every game is tough for us as a result. We just don't play well. We just aren't cohesive. The manager doesn't make the right substitutions. So, essentially every team in this division has a chance against Man United. They have proven that this season. So, with a team as decent as Crystal Palace have been, I've fairly enjoyed watching some of their games. Very entertaining to watch because my team can't even produce half of the type of football that they're playing right now. So, it's the best I think we can do is a draw because we haven't really fared well anyways against them with even previous managers. So, they've always given us a tough game, at Selhurst Park. And, I don't expect anything more different this time around. And, they've got a couple of football players I like within the team as well. So, it would be a game that I'll watch. Most of the time, I'd actually skip half or watch at least 5 minutes or 5 minutes of the first half and then skip it to the second half, hoping that we would do something because Man United is very horrific to watch. It's an end-to-end type of thing. I think that's what we're probably gonna see again, where we, playing this whole basketball type of style of football. So, I do expect us to score 1 or 2 goals max, and concede as well. So I don't see us keeping a clean sheet. So it could be a draw. I could see us drawing. I could see Palace winning. I can't see us winning, honestly.
Yeah, big up the Fallout Tuners. Please get Southgate in. You mean Tuners? Is that you? Are you the Newcastle supporter? You're just a troll here, man. Nobody wants Southgate, man. You and Oliver and Southgate can go on a date together. You know what I mean? He can go in, you know what I mean, with you. No problem. Hold tight with that one. No, did it? Hey, Richie, let me come to you, man. Lay it out, man. Talk to me. What have you liked about your manager, the way your team is playing at this moment? One thing I didn't notice, like I said to you, it's your top three are super connected because both Eze and Elise are coming inside and like the link. But then who have you got the three? So you got Hughes, you got that young kid, what's his name?
So Hughes and Wharton are the midfield two. Tyrick Mitchell plays left wing back. Daniel Munoz, we signed him in January for like 8 mil. He's right wing back. I've been saying to quite a few people, you'll be
and surprised. 3 at the back.
And the 3 at the back. So as it's before this game, we've had Lerma, Anderson, and Ward. Because
Lerma played fantastic, by the way, when I saw him like one Liverpool game.
He then picked up a knock. Then we had Chris Richards come back from injury. So it was Richards, Anderson, and Nathaniel Klein playing that centre back. And yeah, he played centre back against Liverpool and against West Ham. But like I said, I expect Gay to start. So it should be Gay, Anderson, and Richards as the back three.
Wow.
But other than I'm expecting us to beat you.
No, 100%. Bro, the way that DM came through was a man that was like, yo, we are getting smoked. We could hold 5 here. The way that, and actually, I'm looking at your chances, actually, the chance that you create, more likely you're finding the goal because Mateta's on fire at this moment in time. How do I see the game playing out? Where the game will be won? The game will be won in midfield. I think that Hughes and what's the kid called? Alan or what's his name?
Adam Wharton.
Adam Wharton. So Wharton and Hughes. The way they're playing, actually, those two in the pivot, the way they play and the way they complement each other. Hughes is more of a ball player, and Adam Wharton is more of a calmer, hard tackling kind of guy. But the positioning and how high you go up and squeeze. Modern football is about how you condense the space. And the way you condense the space is fascinating. It's really fascinating. We're going to be playing a bit more low block, I think. I'll be shocked if we try to come out and go halfway line because obviously Elise and Esse are quite quick. And you've got Henderson, who's really good at passing the ball out from the back. If you know, I mean, if you give him the time, he can definitely hit the diags, right? No problem. But it's going to be very interesting game for me to watch. And like I said, I'm super excited because it's a Monday night. We've not had a Monday night, I think, for a long time, Manchester United. So It's always nice when you play on a Monday night. Under the lights. You know what I mean? Under the lights.
Yeah, it'll be rocking.
You know what I mean?
Be
It will be rocking that stadium. Richie will be there with the hooligans, you know what I mean? With that crazy army. Eagle Army! Give it at the rest. But what do you think the score's going to be? What kind of scorers do you think? And yeah, is it definitely midfield? Have you been dominating midfield? How you took apart Liverpool was super impressive.
Yeah,
because
I mean, don't get me wrong.
You made chances in that game. No, in the first half. In the first half, before you scored, you absolutely were by far the better team. And you could have scored 3. If it was 3 or 4-0 in that first half, nobody would have argued against that.
What's been good about the progression of Glasnow's, like our fitness has gone up. You know, we tried to implement this new really high pressing style, and I think we could only get a good 45 minutes to 60 minutes, and then we'll tire and concede late goals. You know, we're now being able to do that on a more consistent basis. We're actually hitting, Mateta rarely gets 90 minutes. He's had almost 2 to 3 back-to-back 90-minute games, you know, because of the fitness which has improved. What Glasnow's done to Mateta is unbelievable, by the way, because we were ready to be like, yeah, you can go. And now we're looking at thinking Edouard can go, because Mateta right now is on fire. His ball control's improved, his presence has improved, his link-up play is improved, he's running the channels, he's an absolute nuisance, you know. I don't know if you lot saw the goal against Newcastle.
Yes, trust me, we saw it. We saw it, man.
That is what Glasnow's got us doing now. That 1-2 between Mateta and Ayew is just ridiculous. But we're doing that all over the pitch. You mentioned Will Hughes. He's another player, because realistically, Chet Decore's been injured since he's out for the whole season, pretty much. He's been a big miss for us. And Lerma's done a good job. But then he got injured. So when Gay got injured, Lerma had to go centre back, and Hughes has stepped in. And Hughes has played a lot better than I thought he would, to be honest, to the point where I think he's going to get a new contract because of it. And him and Wharton have just found a little partnership that works, you know. And the football we're playing is just incredible at the moment, and that's all down to the coaching.
Yeah, you can see that. You can see that clearly defined. So come on, Richie, get off the couch. Talk to me. What's the score's going to be?
I say we win 2-1.
2-1.
I won't be surprised if we score more though.
Okay. So what do you think the score's going to be? Listen, get your scores in the chat, people. Get your scores in.
Yeah, no. I think it's either, like I said, Crystal Palace would win or we would draw. So I would see either a 2-2 draw or Crystal Palace winning 3-2.
Bumbaye?
Yeah, I think Palace will win this one. I can't really see us winning it, especially with the players that are missing. I don't know. I've got 3-1 in my head to Palace.
Sean?
1-0 United.
Go on, Sean. Big up Sean, man. I love the levels of delusion. Brilliant. Somebody's got to fight for United. Because there's cowards who get on the pitch and can't fight for shit.
No, I mean, but like Nuruddin, are we supposed to believe that Liverpool were a bad team? Are we supposed to divorce the context of Liverpool losing that game against Crystal Palace from how Liverpool's season has kind of catered off towards the end of the season? Are we supposed to believe that there's some magic sauce that this Glasner guy has that he has injected into this team that suddenly they're now world beaters after the way the season has gone? Let's calm down, right? Like let's put things in perspective.
Guy, Sean,
yeah.
Did Glasner hurt you?
No, he didn't. It's just the smoke, the amount of gas that's being pumped
Listen,
from this show. I feel like I have to take some air out of that balloon.
We did ride our luck against Liverpool. I'm
not
saying we didn't. But remember,
last 20 minutes. Listen, the last 20 minutes, they did everything but score. Let's be right.
Yeah. But don't forget who we are. We're a club that don't have millions of pounds.
It's not me we should remember. It's you, Crystal Palace fans, and everybody else on this panel trying to gas up Crystal Palace that needs to remember who they are, right?
So wait,
which is why when you say it's the tactics, it's the coaching and other kind of stuff, right? It's much easier for an unknown manager or whatever to come to Crystal Palace and do what he's doing than it is to do the blueprints in a different club. I feel like United fans also, with the experience we had with Ole's at the wheel, can tell you about mid-season hype, right? We can tell you all about like the gas that comes from mid-season hype. What happens in the summer when you sell Olise and some other key players?
But we
What
haven't
does the
got to
squad
that
look
stage
like?
yet in this conversation. We're talking about Monday
All
night.
I'm
Let
all
the
I'm
man
doing.
enjoy his team now, Sean.
Anyway,
Tomorrow
Nah,
is another day, man.
but there was too much. There's too much gassing up going on in this
we're
this
just
show,
talking
man.
about. We're talking
Listen, I'm
about
not gonna lie
Monday.
to you. You know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. Listen, there is this virus here. It's not COVID, but it's called untouched virus. Yeah, Sean is contracted it from Eric Ten Hag. I'm telling you, Eric Ten Hag sent it down the phone all the way to California.
There's too much gas
like somebody who's concussed, bro.
on this show. Like too
Listen,
much.
big up Musa.
We're talking about Crystal Palace as if it's prime Barcelona. Please.
We might as well
Yo,
be.
we made commentary look like Brian
We're
Barcelona.
that bad.
Yeah.
We look
Well,
North
you know
County look like
you make
prime
Burnley
Real
look like
Madrid.
Prime Barcelona at times at Old Trafford. What are you watching, Sean?
No.
What bleeding are you watching?
No. Let's be clear now, right? Is it that we are that bad, or Crystal Palace is so good that we now have to be afraid of? Because I'm perfectly willing to admit that we're in terrible straits right now. We're not in the best way. Crystal Palace is in form, but I
Probably
still
a bit
think
of both,
we should
Sean.
have. I still think we should have enough quality, just in terms of just player quality. The same way they found themselves hanging by a thread against Liverpool, as you admitted, they couldn't get past Fulham. They lost to City. They couldn't get past Nottingham Forest either. They lost to Bournemouth. The same way they've dropped all these points, I feel like we should have enough quality, despite how bad we are, to see it through, to get 3 points at Selhurst Park, even though it will be a tough game, even though it will be a difficult watch to us as United fans. It will be hard to watch because it will be shit football that we've seen for a lot this season. But I think within the squad, we should have enough quality. Sorry, go ahead, Rich.
I was just going to say, I'll just caveat what you're saying. Listen, I understand you've mentioned the City game, the Forest game, the Bournemouth game, the Luton game. And as a Palace fan, I won't lie to you. Like I said, and there's always if, buts, and maybe. I'm disappointed we haven't picked up more points. Under Roy Hodgson, we would pick up 0. I promise you. We've given ourselves a fighting chance to hopefully progress next season. Now, if we want to talk about next season, that's going to be difficult. We're most likely going to lose one or both of Eze and Elise. Mark Gay might be gone as well. Joachim Andersen may be gone. And we have to make sure that we have a good summer. The problem with our club is sometimes our ownership lets us down bad. Because when Vieira had his first season at Palace, which was a very good season, made the FA Cup semi-final, he didn't get backed in the summer. And we're basically the makers of our own downfall. But as it stands, right, and let's talk about the Man City game. We took the fight to them. Once again, first half was good, second half wasn't good. Their quality showed. Right? We've now got to a stage where we're going to games and we're being able to play for a good 80, 90 minutes of high intense pressure nowadays. And this is why I feel like we're in a better stead now than we was before. So I don't want to call it gas. Let's not call it that. I'm just happy my team's playing better football.
No, that's fair now, and I think it should be. I think it should be.
And you know what, Rich? I'm envious, bro. Because you know me. For me, win, lose, or fucking draw, that's 3 results can happen in a football match. We win, you lose, you draw. But you know what? When you walk away from a stadium, even the team gets beat, but you've actually been entertained and you can see what your team's doing and you can see that team cohesion and you can see the chemistry on the football pitch. You always walk away and think, you know what? Today was on our day. We'll be back for another game. That's what football is to me. Now, for some different people, football is totally different. Because for me, football is entertainment. Football is part of entertainment. The reason why millions tune in globally, the reason why thousands go to the stadium, because it's entertainment. Where the average person, working class person, things that they can't do, you see footballers do. And that's why we all hold our heads when Elise banks it
for me, the most entertaining game is the one
you know
that
what I mean?
Listen,
no, well, that's you, Sean, innit? That's you. Like, majority of football fans, the ones that I speak to anyway, enjoy good football. They want to see things. They want to see a team play together. And if they lose, that's why I always say.
Yeah,
right
I strongly disagree. I think the majority of football fans would rather win. Would rather win than play well. If they had to choose between winning and play well and playing well,
clubs,
I think most fans. Let's
Sean,
take a poll. Let's take a poll on this panel out of 5, right? I would rather win than play well if that was the choices. Rich, Leso, Bumaye.
Well, this is what I'm saying to you.
Let's take a poll on the panel now, right?
Sean, let me finish. That's why I question if you understand the history of Manchester United and what Manchester United stood for and why Manchester United was created. Manchester United was created out of a railway club, rail workers who created this football club because in part of the Industrial Revolution was to work half a Saturday and they would want to go and watch something that they could not do, where players could do. Manchester United, Sir Matt Busby, one of the greatest managers of Manchester United, that put Manchester United on the map globally, said, the quote is there, good football is what Manchester United is built on. Wing play is what it's built on. Entertainment is what Manchester United is built on. The reason why people call us FC Hollywood is because it's entertainment. The clue's in the fucking name. FC Hollywood.
Do you know the difference between us and Tottenham?
I'm not finished, Sean. I'm not finished.
Okay.
I'm not finished. Manchester United is an expectation and has been historically. You win games playing well. And in modern football, I don't see any teams out there dominating without playing good fucking football. Now, you could say good football is subjective. I can see that too because different people, I'm not in people's heads, different people see different things. But generally, Rich is a Crystal Palace fan. When I say good football, what does that mean? It means attacking, cohesion, chemistry, team that's actually being well coached, carrying out a plan and a system that the manager and the players will work together on. That's what we mean by. But Manchester United, mark my words. One day when you come over from California, no problem. You don't need to go and stay in a hotel. You can come and stay here, Sean. We'll go to the game, and I'll tell you, on the walk there or on the cycle there, we'll get you hired back. Don't worry, Sean. You won't be stuck in traffic. We'll go there, and you will see, and you can talk to the fans. Why did they support Manchester United? Manchester United.
Yeah, you don't need to tell me about that now. I've been watching United for more than 15 years. You don't need to tell me anything.
You reject that.
No.
You reject the fact that you think it's all about winning. It's not all about winning.
There's a bridge. There's a bridge, Nuruddin, that we can build.
I'm saying I'm wrong.
No, bro. Look, do you know? Let me just come in here 1 second. Funnily enough, I finished work today, and Adi, Adi Nuruddin, he sent me a post, an article about Postecoglou, and he said to me, check the comments. I said, I don't need to check the comments. I know what they already say. They're ripping him. They're not happy with him. They're pissed off. What I've learned since 2016 is this. Any top club, eventually, any manager at any top club like United, Liverpool, City, Arsenal at the moment, Bayern, Real Madrid, whatever, the mandate is to win games and play entertaining football. That's the end game. That's where he has to eventually land. But in the process, in the build up to those things, you can only, what I've learned is that playing really well and walking away with nothing doesn't last as long as not playing well and getting results. So I think results is the most important thing because what they do is they keep buying time, and you are where you should be. Whether it's 1-0, whatever, that's much more. That's going to buy you a lot more credits in the process than playing well. So Ange Postecoglou plays great football. If you think about him compared to Conte, Conte was actually doing better than Postecoglou when he left in terms of like position. But you look at Ange Postecoglou now and you think, wow, they're brilliant to watch. I've watched them a lot this season. I don't really watch Spurs. I'm not interested. But this year I really have. But Ange Postecoglou is not getting any more results. He's flip-flopping all over the place, and it's a really bad ending to the season. They got popped by Chelsea, man. So Ange Postecoglou now, it's started. The bullshit started. Can he, in his second season, turn those performances into results? If he can't, he'll get sacked.
Okay, can I ask you a question, Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Did you expect them to play good football? Did you expect what they've done this season, where they've been, how they've stayed consistently up there within the top 5 teams in the league?
Well, what's Spurs' mandate at the start of the season?
No. Well, this is what I'm trying to say to
they
you.
are where they should be, aren't they?
Yeah. No. Did you believe that Spurs could play that level of football, right? And did you expect that? Did you expect that? To be one of the most entertaining teams in the league?
Let me answer you. What I'm saying, what you're saying, it doesn't change my position on it, bro. What I'd say is Tottenham are in and around where they should be. Now, Ange Postecoglou has gained a lot of fans throughout the course of the season. I'm one of them. This football is brilliant to watch. But what I'm saying to you is that novelty soon wears off if that lovely football is not translating into results. Now, if he was not playing sexy football, but getting results, and let's say he was 4th, he would be in much better graces with the fans and he would buy himself a lot more time. That fades that good football. You know what? We played well today. We deserved it, but we didn't get the points. At a big club, bro, where you have targets.
At this moment in time, Bombay,
do you get what I'm saying?
Bombay, if you watch their last 3 games, they're struggling with set pieces. The goals that they've conceded defensively have been from set pieces.
Right? They've lost 3 of the last 5 games.
Yeah, and Manchester United have lost how many?
Let me just add to that.
We've lost 1. We've lost 1 out of our last 5 and drawn 3.
Okay,
this is an important point about
Manchester United have lost 13. So if you lose on Monday night, we will lose 13 games in the Premier League.
Yeah, look, we're terrible. We're terrible.
So please, let's not. For me,
they've lost 10.
The point I want to make is this. The point I want to make is this. For me, it's about how you see football, right? And the level of expectations. To me, I always say losing is part of football. Manchester United or Spurs at this moment in time, a manager that's gone in there first season, I think he's done remarkably well. 100% now. Could it be that they're crashing right at this moment in time?
Let me tell you what's happening.
What football are you talking about?
Let me finish.
It's okay to kick the ball from the keeper straight to the striker and the striker scores. That's okay.
Let me land. Let me land.
Land on the wrong way.
Let me land because I'll let you guys finish.
Land the friggin' jumbo jet.
If they then that crash, for me, I expected that because it's his first season. Have he coached the team level it was? Have they had injuries that is worse than everybody else? Where it's Newcastle, Brighton, and Brentford? Yes, they have. Look, check the amount of minutes they've had players out for. And actually, now the team's fit. The majority of the team's fit. They're actually struggling with set pieces. A lot of the goals they're conceding.
Right, Sean, please allow me to answer
that is the big thing. So for me, I didn't expect Spurs to be up there. And you know what? We've got a Londoner in the house, and I'm sure he knows Spurs fans, and I'm sure he'll tell us about what their expectations of Spurs fans, the people that he speaks to, because I don't know that many Spurs fans who live in Manchester. I don't.
Excuses.
Let me just.
Excuses.
How's that excuses?
Hang on,
how are you, Sean? How are you a Manchester United fan and watching Spurs? How are you?
I'm fucking with you,
to lose games?
I'm literally just trolling. Like I'm fucking with you. I'm not.
He's messing with you.
Listen. That's embarrassing.
When you do you know what?
Embarrassing.
Look,
embarrassing.
Look, you've landed.
To me, Pastor Kulkin has done a phenomenal season.
Right, okay.
Even if they skip the last 5 games,
and let's develop
the majority
the
of Spurs fans who had shit Conte football, and they've had horrendous football under the guy that was there. So Mourinho and Conte destroyed their mentality, and the manager, those two got sacked because the Spurs fan. One thing I will always respect Spurs. Ritual can tell you this as well. If you know anything about Spurs, even when they don't win trophies, the expectation of their fans is that when they go to that stadium, they want to be entertained.
Look, I'd rather be United than Spurs.
That's how they are. That's how they are, and that's how they be. They're not known to win. Listen, they're not known to win trophies. They're not known to win trophies. In the last how many years, they've just become a football club.
Let me finish
the point. Let me finish the point. They've become a club that who qualifies for the Champions League. But I remember where was it less than a decade ago? They were fighting relegation, like finishing like just underneath the either the 10th or 11th or around that area.
Conte took them from there.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Conte. It was Harry Redknapp. What are you on about?
Conte, where would bro? Look, where
you chatting shit? I'm telling you, Martin Yule and Harry Redknapp, he stabilized them. The Pochettino came in and stabilized them, and actually they were challenging for league
we're moving away from the point.
No, we're not moving away. So Spurs is a football club where everybody, what's the word everybody uses? Spursy. That they always bottle it. Whether it's fucking lasagna gate, whatever it is, they always bottle it. That's what they're known for. But one thing you can never accuse Spurs fans is accepting shit football. And I will always respect them for that. But go ahead, I'll move.
The original point was that you made, that Sean came back on and then I came in on, was playing good and losing. I'll accept that. Or results is the most important thing. Results take precedent over performances. That's what I've learned since 2016. That buys you more time, and the aftermath, the post-mortem of every game can be alleviated and appeased because we've got points on the board. That's the reality of football, in my opinion. You have to play both. The thing I'm going to tell you about Ange Postecoglou, yeah, and look where Conte took them from, by the way. They were way down the table. That's in his first season, and he brought them into the Champions League. But let's leave that alone. Moving on. The problem with Spurs is they are conceding a lot of set pieces. But what the other problem with Spurs is, they are a one-dimensional team. He only knows how to play this exact football that you're seeing. Now, when you start a season and you're playing a certain way and you play the teams for the first time, fine. But when you're coming around to the second part of the season, people start to look at what you're good at, your strengths, your weaknesses, and they adapt. Tottenham are struggling at the minute because they only have one plan. Play out from the back, walk the ball into the net. Conte was different to him. Conte had some deficiencies that Postecoglou has managed to get. He's got the creative player that Conte coveted. He's got much better defenders. Conte had to hide that weakness, and they transitioned quickly with Kane dropping deep. What they're trying to do now is not working anymore. It's not working anymore. And this is the problem that fans are having with Ange Postecoglou. We're a one-dimensional team, and they are. I've watched them many times, and you see. Let me finish.
I'm sorry.
Just let me finish.
If you want Conte football or you want
I'll
be absolutely amazed. The majority of them, 80 to 90%.
I'm gonna mute.
Give me fucking Postecoglou team.
That's not what I'm talking about.
I'm sorry. That is fabrication to put covery for Conte. Conte is a dinosaur. His football at Spurs was a dinosaur, and it's the only team that Eric Ten Hag football. It was the only team that Eric Ten Hag dominated in all the 2 years that he's been here. But go ahead.
I don't know why you just did that. That's not what the argument is at all. I'm just making a small point. The point here is about...
No, for me it's different. Listen, for me it's different. That's what it is. If you're going for a league title,
we have to be talking about the same things to have a discussion.
Yeah, for you it's different now. That's why we disagree, because we have different views.
I'm just enlightening you, Dino, about the problems with Ange Postecoglou.
Conte plays shit football.
Forget Conte.
Postecoglou played. He might be one-dimensional, but majority of the season, his football in the way he wants to play.
That's not the issue now, Nuruddin. All Bumaye is saying is that if Postecoglou doesn't get results quickly, he's going to be out of a job.
There's more to it than just set pieces.
No, they're not. No, he's not going to be out
and
of a job.
And you have to look at his second season, bro.
It's Spurs have been a team that is yo-yo. They win. They go on the runs. They lose a couple of games. That's what they've been.
I think Ange Postecoglou's done well.
They're not a team that's been challenging for league titles.
The way the season is finishing...
What are you on about? I don't know what you guys... Do you guys know Tottenham? Rich, I gotta let you come in, bro, because I'm amazed what these guys are on about.
Rich, the question is simple, right? For you, Rich, the question is, which would you rather have? If you had to choose, which would you choose? Results or playing good football?
No. For me, listen, result is part of it. Entertainment is part of it. And at certain clubs, and that's one of the biggest things I respect Spurs fans and Spurs as a club. They know they're not winning trophies. They're not set up. They're not built to go and win trophies. So
I promise you that Spurs fans would rather win trophies.
They want
as good a football as explain. We are talking about Spurs fans having now a reproach towards the manager.
Spurs fans are always going to be moaning about entertaining football. They hate shit football. Jose and Conte dinosaur football, they were like, what the fuck is this? Rich, please, bro, tell me if I'm wrong. I'm happy to be wrong.
It depends what you're going to ask Rich. It might have nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Rich, you come across more Spurs fans. Rich, you come across more Spurs fans than any of us ever do. Explain to me what kind of a football club and what their expectations of Spurs fans is about Spurs.
That's a different conversation entirely.
Totally different conversation
entirely.
And social media is not based in central London.
Let him speak.
I'll answer. I've seen I've had two different questions. I'll answer them both. First, which was before I answer the question. Obviously, results and performances have to go hand in hand, and here's what I will explain why. Yes, winning is important, and a lot more teams will take winning than they wouldn't. But I think winning without the performances, I don't think is sustainable. But the performances will come along and win alongside that. The reason I say that is because, like I said, Roy Hodgson has won games playing in terrible football, but it will always come back to bite. But I still, yes, I do agree that winning is definitely important. You have to win games regardless. That's the only way you're going to win trophies. To answer the hot thing about Spurs have always, prided themselves on playing good football. I think they've got to a stage now, though, and I think this is why they went with Mourinho and Conte, that they were willing to sacrifice good football to win a trophy. Unfortunately for them, it didn't work. And I think one of the biggest mistakes as well was sacking Mourinho before a cup final. If they sacked him after the cup final, so be it. But you can't be sacking a proven winner when you don't win trophies before a cup final. So they've done a good job with Ange Postecoglou, but Ange has to now needs to rethink his strategies because he's one-dimensional, as Bombaye said. He is. That highlight thing, if he's not winning games, it doesn't work. And he's been found out. And he needs to... It's almost like stop being naive, in a sense.
It's like, Rich, I watched them against Newcastle. I don't know if you saw that game. That's the absolute blueprint of what I'm trying to say. Did you see every goal was the same, bro? Like, what are you doing? Are you not learning? You're watching this game.
But I think Spurs fans will definitely be happy. And this is why I say that they pride themselves on playing good football. They're definitely happier under Ange than they were under Conte and Mourinho because the football was disgustingly bad.
Give it some time.
I'll stay with you. Rich, I'll stay with you. Listen, I'll stay with you. Even Crystal Palace, let alone Crystal Palace, bro, your club. What were they saying about your manager, Roy? What were they saying?
The football was dire.
We can't take this football. I'm telling you, majority of fans now know entertainment, good football, and you know the funniest thing? In a decade or maybe 15 years ago, you would see teams that literally part the bus 1-0. Nowadays, you hardly ever see that. Majority of the football that's played that I'm aware of. Now, there might be some small little continent somewhere where they're playing different sort of football that I've not watched. Particularly European football. Majority of teams who win leagues and win trophies play entertainment football. And there are certain games in the season where not every game they play amazing. And by the way, what I mean entertaining football is that not every game has to be amazing. There are games you come against really good teams, and you have to compact the team. You have to get your wingers to come back. You have to put more numbers in midfield, not to be overrun. Where you have to scrap it out to win, right? To me, winning is part of it. But a Manchester United, Richie, you're not a Manchester United fan. You're just a football fan. English, you support an English Premier League team. What do you know about Manchester United and about the style?
Real quick, Rich.
It's the style part of Manchester United DNA, yes or no?
Real quick, just a throwback, Rich. Hold on, Nuruddin. Just a throwback. I wanted to give you the time. I wanted to just give me 1 second, Nuruddin. Give me 10 seconds now.
I will give you the time. Sure.
10 seconds.
I'm gonna give you the time. Let me ask Richie. Richie, tell me about your opinion on Manchester United. Simple. Just quickly tell me.
Well, I mean, from top to bottom, it's a mess.
No. I'm talking about
the playing style.
The playing style. What are Manchester United?
I'm actually, honestly, I'm disappointed in Ten Hag.
No, forget about tonight. Forget about tonight.
Saying to you, what's our idea? Do we play entertainment?
What's your identity?
What is Manchester United DNA?
But this is what I'm saying to you. That's the reason why I thought you would have an actual playing style, and I don't know it. That's the issue with Manchester United. I don't know.
Rich, I think you're misunderstanding me. I'm talking about what is Manchester United DNA? Winning with style.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah,
that's what Manchester United
it's entertaining football. Okay,
nobody can ever tell. It's there. The back is there when you go to the stadium. It's engraved onto the fucking stadium.
Yeah, I mean, like nobody's arguing. Nobody's arguing that with you.
It's like people don't believe this shit.
Nobody's disputing that.
You come on here, but I'm gonna silence myself because people tell me that I don't give you that. So go ahead, Sean. Take the next 5 minutes. Go.
Yeah, no, I don't need 5 minutes because I think Leso has been trying to get in. I just wanted to recall one of the most exciting goals I remember in recent memory. De Gea kicked the ball. He just kicked the ball up. Lukaku nodded it down. Rashford dribbled past Trent Alexander-Arnold and scored. 3 touches, 3 points of contact. That is entertaining football to me. I don't need you to do some type of like elaborate passing from the front to the back or whatever. You know what else winning breeds? Winning breeds confidence. Winning breeds good spirits within the team. When you're winning, your passes are crisper. Your vision is sharper. Everything you touch basically turns to goals or turns to success. I think it's a false choice that we're presenting. But at the same time, I think the point simply has been that for certain clubs at a certain tier in the Premier League, yes, you can afford to just, hang your hat on playing good football. That's okay. But once you get to a certain level of football, the level where Manchester United are, the level that Tottenham is trying to get to, just playing good football and losing only gets you so far, right? Now, you might say that winning without playing well is not sustainable. Neither is playing well without winning. Right. So at the end of the day, you have to get results. Let's hope.
Yeah. You know what I was gonna say? I think if Man United would have accepted what Angie is doing at Spurs in his first season, if it was in our first season as well, we would have been more acceptance of it because at least we know that there was entertaining football and going down the line. Obviously, he won't stick with the same way of playing. He'll obviously learn from, thrashing, and he'll maybe develop more tactical, ounces in going forward. Because that type of football is sustainable. You just have to like navigate around, tactics and on how to go on about games and how to manage games and those sort of things. They come with it with time. Klopp came in, did the same thing at Liverpool. Liverpool was playing basketball games, but they were entertaining. They were conceding a lot of goals. Klopp went into his second season. He started shoring up the defense. He started addressing certain things within that he was getting wrong in his first season. And you could see that he was headed in the right direction. People are saying that this football is not sustainable. It is if you add a little bit of tweaks then there in those that type of style of football. But if you start off with defensive tactics and going forward, it's not sustainable. You will be gone here in 2 years. I've seen this with every manager that have come to big teams and tried this. With Mourinho, it's the same thing. Spurs were close to winning a trophy, but they still wanted him out. Even though they were very close to winning a trophy. So that for me, it tells me everything that I need to know because football fans don't want to go to games, that are not entertaining. A lot of people don't want to be, especially the way these tickets are high nowadays. There's so much money involved. People are paying a lot of money. It's their time as well. We use football to actually get the stress away from a five-day working week, and you're gonna come in there and you're telling me you're gonna enjoy watching a couple of guys ball stink out the place in most games. No, you're not. So I think if Angie was here and he came to Man United the first season, we would have been completely satisfied. We would say next season he needs to step it up. He needs to learn from this season, but we would already given him time because of based on what we've seen already that there's something there. Right now, problem we've got someone who came in his first season played a completely boring style of football last season. We said it's not sustainable. We told you that he'll probably be gone here, if not in his third year. At max, he will be gone. It's the same thing that we've been seeing with previous managers. But now that's the point I'm making, that, I think, obviously, as time goes by, you need to adapt your tactics. You need to, in order to gain results, don't just be naive throughout the whole time. But if you have a building block where your style of football is entertaining, I think people will give you more time, because they're seeing something. They're being entertained. And I think Spurs fans, don't listen too much to social media. Most of them that I know are actually happy with the progression that Ange has made for under, that's their blueprint. They love football. They love entertaining football. So, for me, the whole content Mourinho thing, this thing of playing defensive football and you're losing, it's way worse than when you're playing good football and when you're losing, if you get what I'm saying. People would rather play good football when they're losing 100%. Than vice versa.
And that's my point. Manchester United are not challenging for Champions League, not challenging for league title anytime soon. 11 to 12 years, going on nearly 12 years, I've been starved of good football. With Oli, I had Spurs where, at times, these kind of like cycles where Manchester United will play banging goals right, left, and centre, and then we start playing shitty football. So for me, that's the most important thing to me. Now, what, to Bumbaye or to Sean or to anybody else, I don't care. I know Manchester United are not winning no league title. We're not winning. No, we're not winning. We're not even competing in the Champions League. You see our record in the Champions League. We're out of it. We go into the bloody cup, to the Europa League, and now we could be in the fucking conference. And actually think this fucking football club deserves, and some of these fans deserve to be in the conference for the amount of shit things what we're doing. At the end of the day, for me, in Manchester United's DNA, and I explained it, and there's so many ways I can explain it. Modern football, 15, 20 years ago, you could stink out the place and win 1-0 to win a league title. Modern football, you cannot. I repeat, in Europe, because that's what I watch, majority of teams in the leagues, in the top leagues, the 5 leagues in Europe, play good football. They win playing good football. The days of stinking out 1-0s is over. Those days. Now, that don't mean that you can't be tactical for one game, because the threats of the other team that you're playing, so you're not maybe as going forward or bumming forward as you like. I understand that. I play Saturday, Sunday league, and at times when we played against the better teams, we didn't go gun-ho. We had to be a bit more tight. We had to have overnumbered them in certain areas. We had to be closer together. So I understand that. But what I'm saying to you generally in terms of performance, and my belief is this: performance will be more sustainable to add more quality to your team, like Liverpool and Klopp did. Klopp is the perfect example. Liverpool were conceding goals right, left, and centre with Karius and all these other guys. The type of football that Jurgen Klopp was with. When he brought in the 3 quality players, Fabinho, the goalkeeper, and Van Dijk, Liverpool changed completely. In terms of being entertainment football that can win games here and there and lose games, they went to the next level. That is what we're at. That is what we're at for me. But what else can you tell us about Crystal Palace? Obviously, your fans were, Rich, they were rioting. They were not rioting, but there was banners out in a lot of the away games. You're owned by Americans. So the CEO, what's his name?
So we got Steve Parish, and then underneath
Steve Parish. Yeah, he's been under a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure.
He was at the time, because, and this obviously goes towards that point, we weren't happy. Not only was we not winning games, the football, like I said, was terrible. You got Roy Hodgson overplaying players, then they're picking up hamstring injuries, not giving youth a chance. Like, a lot of it was terrible. And that statement we made at the Emirates, listen, even if we had only lost that 2-0, it was a massive statement that needed to be made. We ended up losing at 5-0, and to be fair, we were poor and they deserved to win by that margin. But we had to make a statement. And that banner that was put out there was the statement made. And it got the ball rolling. It got the ball rolling, and we were able to, like, obviously, I'm glad Roy's well. It was just unfortunate circumstances. Like, he was about to take a press conference and say that, listen, he's going to step down. And then obviously he fell ill, so it looks as if like we were trying to sack him on his not deathbed, but in the hospital bed, but that wasn't the case. But the statement had to be made because otherwise we would still be sitting here with Roy Hodgson just to save a bit of coin until the summer. And I'm glad that John Textor, like he's been wanting Oliver Glasner from even before the season started. He wanted him in the summer, so I'm glad that Glasner was still available to be got as a manager, and he's doing a good job at us at the moment.
Big up to you. Listen, I want to come on to this quickly. Gary Neville sat down and the interview came out, so he must have been done it a couple of days. I think he might have done it on Tuesday. But the interview dropped this morning on Sky. It's a half-an-hour interview. Those of you who have not watched it, I will recommend for you to watch it. I think on the whole, Erik ten Hag defended his position and just went, every question was injuries, injuries, injuries. That's what every answer was to me, which was an absolute waffle. Manchester United Football Club, listen to me. Sean, please just mute and I'll let you in and you can have, all of you can have the first say. My point of view is that the question that was asked about the style of play where Gary Neville, who's one of the most successful right backs in Manchester United history, who's won 8 league titles, right? Won a treble, right? That's won 2 European Cups, 2 Champions Leagues. Gary fucking Neville is sat there with him at Carrington, right, and saying to him, you know, when I played, I had a relation. I had somebody. When I was playing at the back, the guy had to go and trap back. He's like, why? He asked him this question specifically. Why don't you wide guys trap back when you're off the ball? And why is Casemiro left this single pivot business and he's left all alone in the middle? Erik ten Hag was absolute loads of waffle. Just absolute. He said, well, what happens is that we've had 37 different changes of the back four. No, he's not asking you about the fucking back four. He's asking you, why don't your wingers, when you lose the ball, trap back? And why are you isolating Casemiro in the most physical, the fastest league in the world, right? And the most physically robust league in the world. Why are you leaving Casemiro alone in midfield? And you know what? All he could answer was, well, if we had the Shaw and Martinez, we would be able to pass the ball, and then we would be able to push up a little bit, and then we would not be. Shut the fuck up! He's not asking you about centre back or left back. He specifically fucking asked you about why are your 2 wingers off the ball, don't come in and help out in midfield. Why are they not being part of a team? Especially when you know you can't carry anybody. Your reasons, one of the reasons why we got rid of Cristiano Ronaldo was that we couldn't carry anybody. You know, Erik ten Hag said nobody. Everybody has to run. Everybody has to. We can't, because Cristiano Ronaldo is somebody who's not holding up the ball. He is somebody on his back to goal. He wants everything to his feet. So one of the reasons why we got rid of him, because he doesn't do the pressing. He's not doing the work rate. And now you've been asked a simple question about your single pivot, about the gaps that are appearing. And then the other second question that he was asked was that, why are you not changing it when you know this is damaging us? And you know what his excuse was? He was like, well, this, in his head, and me, I'm just answering for him because his style of play is this 3-6-1 build-up bullshit, which we don't even play that anyway. We just move the ball up to Rashford and go, fight! And then Bruno gets the ball and hits it out wide, whether to Garnacho or to Anthony or Rashford or whatever it is. He asked the question, he's like, so why are you not, because football is about, as you know, modern football is about spaces, how you condense the spaces so you don't get hurt, right? He was like, well, I don't want the players who are injured, I don't want them coming back, and then we've changed the play. We've changed it. So what the fuck were you doing Liverpool away? What the fuck were you doing at times at other games in the top 4 in London? What were you doing? Like, in terms of the ideas for me to go, oh, well, I can't change it. This is answer. I can't change it because I don't want to play more of a defensive, pragmatic football, because then I have to teach the players again. And for me, my biggest grudge with Eric Ten Hag is he thinks he needs to have specialized players with specialized quality to be able to play his football fully for it to work. I call bullshit on that. And I am guilty for not doing my research and understanding that that's what this janitor is. Majority of managers, even if the quality is crap, they can coach players to play out from the back. Hence, fucking your team. You telling me you got better players than Crystal Palace? No, we don't. We have better players than Crystal Palace. We've got better players than Brighton. They can be coached to play out from the back in the system how they want to play. And it can be done very quickly. But Eric Ten Hag is telling you this single pivot, wingers not tucking into midfield or coming back and helping defense when we lose the ball is, I don't want to coach them to do that because we think that's defensive. What's that absolute bullshit? What's that absolute absolute fucking, like, what kind of the word I'm looking for is...
No, really, that's not what he said at all.
Listen, how much can you insult the intelligence of footballers? Like, they're not footballers, or fans, of the United fans that watch
my intelligence was not insulted.
No, let me finish, Sean. I told you you can come in. I told you, let me finish this. The level of insult to our intelligence is unfucking believable. He did not answer the questions. All he kept going back to is Martinez and Shaw. The left-hand side, we don't have anything. No, the back four is the fucking back four. Just because you change players in the back four does not mean that in your midfield and your attack, the 6 players you got running up there, they are how they are positionally on the football pitch when you lose the ball. That was the question, and he did not answer it. And Gary fucking Neville let him off the fucking hook. But to me, it was the biggest insult. 8 times league winner, 2 Champions League winner, a fan of Manchester United, who goes to most games, right? Other one is watching Salford, literally explained it to him and said, I played in that stadium. I played for this club. I've won trophies for this club. I know that when we lose the ball, nobody is allowed to get away with it. People have to be in positions so that we don't face 600 shots in so many games. And you know what? Eric Ten Hag had no fucking answer.
Okay.
That's all he could say, and it was fucking embarrassing. So that's why on the thumbnail, Gary Neville exposes.
Yeah, we definitely watched a different interview, right? And the first thing I would say is that I love how Gary Neville and these ex-players, when they say something in support of the club or the Glazers, they are wafflers, they are Glazer puppets, they are products of the machine and the PR machine. But the moments that Gary Neville is asking a question that you agree with or putting Ten Hag in the top spots, he's now this player who is a hero and has won 8 titles, etc., etc. Second thing I would say is that you're being very unfair to Ten Hag, which is your right, of course. But Ten Hag specifically, said he admitted that finally, regardless of everything I'm saying here, the result is what matters for the fans, especially. Because he started off talking about the injuries, then admitted that, you know what, I know that this, depending on if you want to take this as an excuse, because I agree that ultimately the results matter. The first question that you said about what Gary Neville asked him about Casemiro being isolated and the wingers not coming back, he made 2 points in response to that. The first thing he said was having a stable back four, which for Ten Hag's style of play is the first point of progression for football. It's the first place that our attack starts from is defense. It's from our ability to get the ball from Onana, because he doesn't want to play it long. He wants to get the ball from Onana to either the center back or the wing backs and then up the pitch that way. So having a consistent back four available, being able to implement the patterns that you have in mind definitely goes a long way. It doesn't help if you have to play how many maybe 30 or so different combinations. The second thing he said, the reason why that happens a lot is because of the lack of possession. He specifically said, if you have the ball, which makes sense intuitively, if you have the ball, then you're not going to be, having to chase it back, because you're controlling possession. And his team hasn't been able to do that. Going back to the back four and going back to the inability to build up play and to play in a way that like helps you recycle the ball coherently. Ten Hag wants his players to be strong in one-on-one situations. He's not the type of he has an idea specifically of what he's trying to do. And the second question that you asked, no, but okay, so that Gary Neville asked him that you mentioned that also, why don't you play a more pragmatic style of play and everything? He admits that they did that last season, and last season we had one of the best defensive records. But in order to please fans like you and the majority of the United fans who want quote unquote good football, Ten Hag is saying we want to take the next step and play on the front foot, play more proactive football. So there's no going back to, that's what he said, there's no going back to a more pragmatic style. We have to move forward. We have to play a more proactive style of football. And then the next task, which he admitted as well, the next task is recruiting the players who can get you what you want to do, or having the players in your squad fit, the people who can do what you want, having them fit and available to do what you want. And you might see that as an excuse. You might prefer that he shift his approach from the more proactive style to something more pragmatic in the meantime. But you can only do that so much, as a leader. Basically, as a leader, you can only adjust at a point. You have to be like, okay, this is my idea. We're gonna crash the ship, or we're gonna move forward. One way or the other, I'm following the plan that I have, and the club is either going to back him or sack him. But I don't think you can criticize him for sticking to his convictions. And I think, on the contrary, like even though I've been frustrated with Ten Hag and everything, I actually like this interview. Ten Hag doesn't duck the smoke. He's not like Ole, who spent a lot of time beating around the bush. He answers questions, I think, directly and coherently, explaining his position. And you can see that as, what, Ten Hag, that's too much excuses. All that matters is the result. If you say that to him, he himself admits that that's fair. That's a fair critique of him. And he recognizes that results are the most important thing. But he's willing to, like, the question that Gary Neville asked him, where he's like, well, I know the answer, right? Well, we've done the analysis, but results are the most important thing. He was saying that many times. Asked about injuries, he was like, well, we've done our analysis, but I can chalk it up to bad luck, as well, was his answer. So I mean, cut the guy some slack, right? Like, cut the guy some slack. And Gary Neville actually came out of the interview impressed, and in his conversation with Jamie Carragher, he referred to Ten Hag as, like, quote unquote, the last man standing or something like that. He's making, I think, coherent arguments about what is wrong with his team, what is missing from everything. And I think the strongest critique of Ten Hag at this point in time is that, Ten Hag, you should move to a more pragmatic style because you don't have exactly what you want. If you say that, that's fair. But I think you can't blame Ten Hag for saying, no, I don't want to do that. Instead, give me the players that I need, and you wouldn't believe what you will see, from this team.
Okay, anybody else like to jump in before I dismantle the waffle that John said? Sean said. I'll take it. First of all, anybody else want to jump in quickly? Because Gary Neville exposed him. No, listen to me. Gary Neville literally said, when I played here. So the reference to what I'm saying to you, Gary Neville actually plays down. He's one of these players that actually doesn't big up himself, like how many trophies he's won and who he is, because he actually dumbs down and he says, oh, I couldn't play in modern football. He was actually fantastic. One of the most consistent right backs in Premier League history. One of the best. So I'm taking the opportunity to say that to him. But he exposed Erik ten Hag, regardless what anybody says, because he referenced himself when he played here. The expectations of fans in the stadium and the Manchester United fan base is that the blatancy or Erik ten Hag's progressive football, there's nothing fucking progressive about playing a single pivot, having huge fucking gaps everywhere. Rich, you've watched us recently. I'm sure you've got to do a little bit.
You insist on missing the point.
No, Sean, let me finish. Sean, I've let you finish. You got to have respect that I muted and let you just carry on with yourself. But I'll say it again. I'm asking somebody who does not support Manchester United. Sean, what are the most interesting things you're looking forward to at playing Manchester United on Monday night? I know if anybody watches Manchester United, it's the gaps. It's the absolute gaps and spaces that you're giving. And the Eric Ten Hag, for him to sit there and go, that's my style of play, and I need these specific players. Get the fuck out of my football club. Brighton, they've got a manager that can coach anybody to go and play his style of football. It might not be amazing every game, but they coach that. Your manager's come in recently and coached your team to play what he wants to see. Win, lose, or fucking draw. But you can see as a fan sitting in that stadium, actually, there's a plan to this, what we're doing. At Manchester United, single pivot, wide guys just getting away with it. Making like somebody like Kobu and turning him into an 800 fucking meter runner. And then he's gassed out after 60 minutes. Then he has to take off. It's laughable. That's not progressive football. That is shit tactics. And pragmatic doesn't mean defensive football. Pragmatic just means wingers, get the fuck back. Come and help your midfield. Come and help the fucking fullbacks. Especially, Rich, when we've got centre half, we've had 2 or 3 different kind of, we've had what? Maybe 3 consecutive games the same centre halves. You would want it specifically the rest of the 6 up the pitch to help out more and to protect the defense when the defense is changing so much. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think just watching you guys, there's a massive gap in your midfield. You know, for what I see, Bruno normally initiates most of the press, which leaves poor Kobe Mainoo, who I think has been brilliant for you guys, by the way. I'm like I said earlier, I'm looking forward to seeing the midfield chess match between him and Adam Wharton. It kind of leaves him isolated, you know, and that's only because Casemiro doesn't have the legs. I'm not discrediting him as a player, but the speed of the game is really hindering him. Granted, he might be playing centre back, I believe, because of your injuries. I don't think that helps your cause. You have been unlucky with a lot of injuries. I'll give you that. And you've got to look at it both ways. You can look at it in one way and say, you know what, he's been unfortunate with injuries. I think the Martinez one's been a massive blow for you guys, to be honest. But on the flip side, a coach has got to kind of you get dealt the cards you're dealt with, the hand you're dealt with, and you have to be able to adjust, I would say, in order to make do with all the issues you have. Like Liverpool is a club that's had a lot of injuries this year as well. But up until their recent...
Let me name you. Brighton, Brentford, Newcastle, Spurs, Chelsea, Liverpool. Majority of teams have had major injuries to key positions and key players. But they still play attractive enough football, whether they win or lose or draw. A majority of their fans will turn up and go, I know I'm... And Manchester United, you could fucking... You know what you can do? You can put the Titanic through the spaces we give everybody. And it's laughable. It's so basic. If you play any level of football, what Manchester United is doing is more embarrassing than any Sunday league team. It's so embarrassing. We turn up for 25 minutes in one game, half an hour in the other game, 1 half in the other game, and then the rest of the half, we forget about it. We get absolutely bent over by every fucking team. No facility. That's what happened. That's what's been happening.
Yeah. I did want to ask you guys as Man United fans, because Marcus Rashford, has he been dropped? Is he injured? Like, what is it? Because I know he doesn't really track back. And I mean, I've seen loads of clips of him just letting players run past him. Has this been an issue for a while with him? Or is there just something that's going on with him, like, personally?
Let you Bombay, you want to answer that? I can answer that quickly.
Listen, bro, I need to get off, so I'll just answer this. Marcus Rashford, everyone's going to tell you something different here, Rich. Marcus, to me at least, I think he's a really good player. He's having a bad season. There is the possibility that some of these players are not believing in the manager. And this does go back as well to results, because sometimes when you play well, but you're not reaping, or it's not yielding any points or trophies, at a certain point you think, you know, this might be fun for you guys to watch, but we're not winning anything. So this is what's happening with us now. We're not only playing badly, but this season now we're not getting any results anymore. So I think at a certain point, if you are winning something and you're not playing well, okay, we've won things. It builds trust. It builds confidence. So I think Marcus perhaps doesn't really believe in this at the moment. But I personally
Did you
would
see the
keep him.
interview, Bumbaye? Did you see the interview?
No,
Gary Neville interview?
no, I've not watched it,
You
man.
have to watch it. Listen,
Yeah,
watch it because I love to ask you about it on
fine,
Monday night's match
fine.
reaction. You need to watch it. It's half an
Yeah.
hour. It's on Sky YouTube.
Enjoy the game, Rich. It's good to have you with us, bro. Good to speak to you, gents. I'll see you
Pleasure,
on
guys.
Monday night, hopefully.
I'll
Yeah.
give you a quick
Big up
answer.
Sean. Big up
Yeah.
Lesso, Tino, Rich.
Yeah, big up
Everybody
Mumbai,
in the
man.
Big up,
comments.
my
Nice one, guys.
Yeah,
Good
big
night,
up, man.
guys.
Big up. We'll see
Take
you
care.
hopefully for the match reaction on Monday night.
Take
Big up.
care, guys.
Rich, I think Marcus Rashford was the golden boy last season for Eric Ten Hag. And actually, I can record maybe in the games that last season he played well, I could say half of the games of last season he played actually well and he scored goals. Half of them he was not playing well, but luckily he was just finding the goals. So his level of performance last season was not all great. I think less than half of the games where he played, he actually played well. And when he scored, but he wasn't playing well, but scoring. And people were glossing over that like they do with every player. If you're scoring, everybody glosses over. We all do as football fans. If the player's scoring, we gloss over the performance. I personally think this comes from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. With him and Greenwood, what we used to do as a tactic, Rich, was that leave them those two. We used to play mid to low block football with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right? So our tactic was to have Greenwood and Rashford up the pitch wide and high, because as a transitional team, we would win the ball back on either in the low block or the mid block, and then they can spring, right? I coined the phrase because of him that we shadow press. It's not, when you shadow boxing, you're not boxing anybody, are you? You're not really hitting him. You're just doing a shot. That's what he does. I coined the phrase Manchester United do a lot of shadow pressing up the pitch. That's what we do. We don't actually press as a team, as a unit. We don't press effectively, consistently. So for me, he's just totally disinterested. That's why he's going out partying. When have you ever heard before the thing that happened in Belfast? Have you ever heard Marcus Rashford being out in clubs? I think after the Derby loss, he went and had a birthday party in a club in Manchester. That was the last time you heard. You're not really hearing him that he's in clubs all of that time, every time. So there's something going on. There's something going on with him. And personally, he's disinterested and he's lost the heart. And I personally believe last season, there were some concrete chats between his representative and Paris Saint-Germain. And I wish him well, because I actually think he needs to leave this club, because, again, he's always the same player. So before it was Pogba, now it's Rashford. And before that, it was Sancho, and now it's Rashford. Do you know what I mean? It's always these players who get scapegoated.
None of these guys are...
He's the biggest scapegoat. So my point to him, that if I was to ever advise him, Rich, is that I would say to him, you've tried and it's not worked, not been successful. You've won a FA Cup, a League Cup, 2 League Cups, and a Europa League in 12 years. So I think you're 26. I think you should go and try and go to a more stable football club.
It's a little like revision, because
listen, where he can win, where he could got the potential to actually be motivated to go for big league challenges and to go for big trophies. That's my advice.
None of these guys are martyrs, right? Like, none of these guys are martyrs. None of these guys are victims either. I'm not going to touch on Sancho and Pogba.
Sean, the way you talk about Eric Ten Hag, he's the biggest martyr and the victim.
No, I mean, you could feel that way now. You could feel that way, and if you listen to what I said and took it as me defending him, then sure, right? I just heard something entirely different from what you heard, and I think it's reason people can disagree on whether or not Ten Hag should play practice football or be pragmatic to suit the squad that he has with him. He has chosen one of the two. The results ultimately will determine his future. With regards to Rashford, I think couple of things about Rashford. Number one, he's a creature or a product of this generation, of this modern day YouTube compilation generation, a ridiculously paid player solely off of vibes. Hasn't really done much professionally in terms of awards or actual like football success, but has enough clout, by virtue of his personality, who he is, what he has done in the community, to garner a lot of attention and to get a lot of noise about him. Second thing about Rashford is that, like, I think again, being a product of this generation, he's so much of a vibes player. So when you listen to people like Gary Neville and Rio Ferdinand and all these people talk, the vibes was less important than the actual graft of having to show up every day and put in 8/10 performances. Guys like Rashford, they play well when the vibe is good. Everybody's feeling well, we're all feeling great. Rashford is balling out of control. Third problem with Rashford, he's supposed to take that next step from being the young player who has potential to being the guy at United. That's who he was last season for us. He was the man, and he was supposed to take that next step. I'm not surprised that when the whole team is playing rubbish this season, Rashford also is not playing well. And because of all the attention that comes with Rashford, his failures are being, there's an extra microscope on him as an individual, and his failures are highlighted more than the other players in the squad. I don't think he's being scapegoated necessarily. I think he should understand that it comes with the territory. I'll be sad to see him go, honestly, but I think Rashford himself has to step up and step up to the plate. Like his decision making in games, he's running into blind alleys. He's running into multiple players. The lack of effort that he's putting in, none of that I think is justified by any feeling that he might have about Ten Hag or about the way we're playing. As a professional, you're supposed to do your job on the pitch, which is what we're asking of the manager to do. So why can't we ask the same that somebody who gets paid 325,000 pounds do better than run into the defender? Literally just run into somebody. Look up, right? Rashford needs to take that next step. He's a very talented guy, but he's no longer a young player, quote unquote, anymore. He's no longer like somebody with potential. This is the time where he's supposed to step into that him, phase of his career. It doesn't help that United is in the position that we're in right now, but at the same time, he's supposed to be he's supposed to take on a lot more responsibility than he currently is in the squad. And I don't accept that, like, Ten Hag or anything like that is what is causing him to not take responsibility. I think he's somewhat pampered, spoilt, entitled, privileged young man who, while he has done a lot for his community, has way more than he deserves, I think, in terms of financial and economic compensation at this point in his career when he hasn't really done anything worth any of that.
Close us to close out the show. Like to hear your 2 pence. First of all, did you see the Gary Neville interview with Eric Ten Hag and the thing about Rashford quickly? Please, bro. Big up to you.
Sorry?
What I said, did you see the Gary Neville interview with Eric Ten Hag? And can you also answer Rich's question about Rashford, if you can? Close out the show.
Oh, okay. No, the interview, man, I mean, it's self-explanatory, honestly. I think this is a point where, it's a PR thing, where, they're trying to keep Ten Hag here into the next season. We've seen this a lot. I think it's not looking good for people who want Man United to be progressive, going into the future. Keeping the same guy that has not been able to coach this team. I don't know what they're expecting in his third season, because just judging by the questions, he could not even answer the most direct questions you can possibly answer. When someone asks you as to what you're doing to address this so and so problem, and you come back and you're now moaning about other things outside of the context of the question, then for me that tells me that you're already hiding and you're already clueless and you don't know what the next step is. We can.
Listen, did you watch the interview?
Yeah, I did watch some of it, and I was fed up. I could not finish it because I knew what the answers were before he could even answer them. I watched half of it and I was like, I'm done. You can't honestly with the straight face. You watch that interview with the straight face and actually walk out and say you've learned something. You have absolutely learned nothing. In fact, if anything that you have learned is that everything that we've said from the previous season up until now, it's exactly as it is. The whole thing about the formation, how we like organize ourselves in each game that passes. You look at our midfield, there's a huge gap, literally. That has never been fixed since the beginning of this season. You look at how many shots we're facing. Guess what? He answered that when they asked him in one of his press conferences. I think it was after the game, where they asked him about that, and he said it doesn't matter. I mean, this is the type of thing that I'm saying, that if you think that facing a lot of shots per game does not matter as a manager, then already we're screwed. If that's your mentality, we are absolutely screwed. So for me, he's already answered some of those questions. Basically, what Neville went there was just to reiterate some of the questions that he has been previously asked. Yeah. So, and then to answer the Rashford thing, to answer the Rashford thing, it's I think his time is up. And it's just sad because it's just the environment. The environment around the club has just not been good for these young players. They got too much money way too quickly. There was no I'd say there was no one that they could look up to. You look at the structure of the club themselves. There's no one that they could see that was a football
bankers, mate. Bankers,
anyways. Literally
looking after bankers.
So I think that's
leadership
just
from bankers.
You know what I'm saying? So that basically, like, it's written in stone that most of them would not succeed here because everything was just not good. It was just not a good setup for young players and young talented players to come and succeed here. So we've seen it. So basically, that's his fate, and unfortunately, he has to step it up and go to PSG. For me personally.
Yeah, big up. Big up, Lesso. Listen, Rich, we'll let you close out the show, bro. Big up to you, first of all. I appreciate you coming on and staying with us through all our waffle. You know what I mean? All our internal Manchester United waffle. But big up to you. I'm so happy for you, genuinely, that you've got a manager that knows. But 100% fact, if your club, from everything that I see, if they don't keep some of the players, if you don't keep Henderson, Anderson, you don't keep Elise, SA together at least, and do not go on and keep, more importantly, Dougie Freedman, because I heard that Newcastle are sniffing around him.
Yeah.
And we're partly to blame for that because we're supposed to get in Dan Ashworth.
We can't lose him. He's
good.
He's done so good.
So if you can't lose those director of football that you have, if you don't add to it next season, this manager's gonna struggle. Because I'm telling you, the teams coming up or the teams who are still in it, they're gonna strengthen. And if you boys, if your owners don't buck up their ideas and build a squad, robust squad, because this type of football, trust me, will produce injuries. This kind of high-octane, high football will produce, because not that the fact that your manager's ideas are wrong, is that the Premier League is a humbler, bro. The Premier League, the most physical and fastest paced league in world football. To be able to play that, you need to be able to have a squad. And you know what I mean? What you've seen, the type of football that you're playing now, who plays it predominantly is Liverpool. The way your front three press, the way you all pitch up, the way you condemn the space, you need to have, because players who are not used to playing that style of football will get injuries. So you need better squad. In terms of, is it true that SA and Elise now 60 million each? That's what's been banged on it. I heard a long time ago that Elise has got a buyout release clause already.
Yeah, so he signed a new deal in the summer, and that came with a minimum 60 million release clause. He wasn't going to sign a new contract unless, because he didn't want to be priced out of a move like Sao Zaha was. Back in the day. Eze doesn't have a release clause, by the way, so we could probably try and bump up his value a bit. But at least he has the higher ceiling, so
Yeah. In terms of how old's Eze, by the way?
25 now.
Okay. So to me, they're both. I mean, a lot of United fans are excited about them, and we'll see them obviously more on Monday night in terms of a whole fan base. But I'm quite unsure about their injury records. Both of them.
Yeah.
Both of them are very. Injuries is a massive thing because to me,
this is the first
now
season.
Eze is not a kid anymore. Eze is not a kid. He's 25, and to still be having the level of muscular injuries and stuff that he's getting is quite worrying.
Yeah, I think this has been a very unfortunate year for both of them regarding injuries. So Elise actually got injured playing for France in the under-21 Euros. So he didn't. His first game for us was like in November, and then Roy Hodgson was like, "Oh my gosh, he's back fit. We need to play him regularly," and he just kept getting injured again, which was stupid. He even brought him on when we were 3-0 down at Brighton.
That was crazy. That was
like
crazy.
Why? You know what I mean? With Eze, he picked up a kind of freak injury against Luton, and that's the same game that Decore got injured in as well. And we haven't seen Decore all season.
What a big miss that guy! Honestly, I 100% that guy. He can play for the top three teams.
He's so good. He is so good.
Very good player.
And that's why I mean I would love to see him and Wharton next season. That would be a dream. So yeah, they've just been very unfortunate this year with injuries. I wouldn't say they're injury prone. They've just had a tough year of it. And
well, hasn't Eze been out? Eze's already had a season out, didn't he? A couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, he did his Achilles a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, and he was out for a long time. Yeah, so
he was.
That's why I'm saying injury prone, because he's had injuries where he's been out for a long time.
What Glasner's done well is he's managed Eze and Elise a lot better. Like Eze had a little niggle, you're not playing. Don't worry, come back the next game. With Elise, as much as he had a great game against West Ham, Glasner said, all right, against Newcastle, 3 days later, you're starting on the bench. And that's how you manage your squad, especially with your key players. You don't burn them out because they're just going to pick stupid injuries, you know. I've seen, Sheikh's had a comment in quite a few times regarding Mark Gay. I am so glad he's back. I am so glad he is back.
How good is he, bro? How good is he? Can he play for the top three?
He can. He can. We got him obviously from Chelsea, so he must be decent enough. You know what I mean? He was playing for the academy.
Well, what was his biggest attributes? Has he got pace?
Pace, composure. There was a period where he was trying to overplay and he got caught out a few times, but he's learned from that. He's what, 22, what, 23, in fact. We forget that there's still young players. Check the Corey is what, 23 years old.
How much is Anderson?
Anderson is, I think he's 27 now.
He's a good player.
You know,
he's got a brilliant pass on him. One thing about him.
If I'm thinking about Mark Gay, and I'm thinking about the fact that, let's say, Varane's in his 30s, I think Gay could be a good partner for Martinez, personally.
What about who would you rate better, Anderson or Gay?
I'm more of a Gay fan because I think
Anderson
I prefer Gay just because he's got more.
He's younger. He's got higher ceiling.
He's got more composure. But Anderson has really stepped up this year when he's been absent. He has really, like the last month, I would say, having to have Lerma and Klein or Joe Ward next to you in centre back, he has led us to these victories. So I have to give Anderson credit where it's due. Yeah.
One thing I would say about the tactics about your manager, just in terms of like where he is, who he is that it's like the pressing and the hard running is a big part of his teams. High octane style of play, innit? And you know that's what he played. That's what he was known for Frankfurt and Wolfsburg. You know what I mean? Because with those high metrics, you know, with the intensive runs and sprints, so you're definitely going to need a squad, man, and it's going to test these players' durability.
It's going to be our biggest summer this year.
Yeah. And I think that they have to react to the unhappiness of your fan base. But, bro, listen, let them know where they can find you in it. Let's go. Big up Melwani, man. Go big up my brother, Marain Luwani. Big up Luwani. Love. and everybody else tonight contributing. But go ahead.
I have big up Ronnie for that comment. Yeah, listen, we're playing. We are playing well. But yeah, you can find me on Eagle Eyed Football. We are a Crystal Palace channel. Funny enough, I might not be at the game on Monday. Only reason being is the team I play for. I've got an injury, so I'm not playing. We have a National Cup final, so we're playing at Burton Albion Stadium on Monday.
So your Saturday league, Saturday league.
Saturday league team. So it kicks off at 1 o'clock. It's going to be very touch and go if I make it back to London in time. But
Burton, where's Burton? Where's that?
Not too far from Nottingham, so it's about 3.5 hours away.
So Midlands, yeah.
So it'll be very touching if I make the game, but either way, I'll find it on my phone or something. Yeah, I can't wait.
But anyway, if you need me for the match reaction, let me know what. But I don't know what time you do the match reaction. But I'll be doing the match reaction
on Tuesday evening, I reckon.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'll give you a shout.
Yeah, man. Big up. Listen, you can get it here, man. You can see it there, people. Big up to Sean as well, at Sean Thomas. I don't know what's happened to him. Hopefully we'll try to bring him back. He's lost his connection. But yeah, big up to everybody. You already can see here. There you go. Let's Go Football. Make sure you check it out on there. Let's Go Football. And it's black. Say the second part. Let's Go.
Rain.
Black Rain. Black Rain on Twitter at Black Rain. And Sean Thomas at Sean Thomas and How We See Things. So make sure you subscribe. Check out all your podcast providers. How We See Things for geopolitical podcasts. Like Rich, at Rich Eagle Eye Football. Make sure you check him out on there. And here, if those of you are interested in following me, even though I haven't got the blue tick, so they don't really show my tweets anymore. So it is what it is. But yeah, we'll be back here for the match reaction. I'm genuinely looking forward to this. Like I said, really good games for Manchester United, intense games throughout the years. Palace, it's never been an easy place to go. Their crowd, their stadium is condensed, loud Palace fans under the lights. It's always a night as well, majority of times where we play you night games. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Testing ourselves. But yeah, we'll be back on Monday night. If anything breaking news comes, we'll be back. Obviously, the bit of breaking news there that Tuchel can be considered. And then there's contradicting stories about Eric Ten Hag being kept. And partly the Gary Neville interview was for him to have his say on about the season. And all he said was injuries, which is BS. But love and light, people, because every big team, a lot of big teams in the Premier League have had lots of injuries. But love and light. Good night, people. And we'll catch you in the next one live. Peace, love, light. Free fucking Palestine from the river to the sea. We say that, and we say it with our chest, and free everybody who lives between the river and the sea who are oppressed. That's what we mean by that. We don't mean killing people. So yeah, if you want to take how you want to take it, we'll say it with our chest. As we speak right now, the Israeli military is bombing Rafah. 1.3 million people condensed in this kind of like tent city in Rafah, and they're getting bombarded as we speak right now. I'm getting a couple of notifications on Twitter on my phone, and it's just dreadful. And the whole world is watching, and Britain is supporting this. The political elite and the political class and the elites and the media class are supporting this here and in the US. This is what empires do. This is what colonialists do. This is what imperialists do. And yeah, so free the Sudan and free the Congo as well, and Ogaden and Tigray region. So yeah, solidarity to all those people who are oppressed. If you are with the oppressors, fuck you and your whole record label and anybody who fucks with you. You can do one. But yeah, we keep it 100% on this channel. We always stand against the oppressors, or we stand with the oppressed. So love and light, people. Let me know in the comments. Please smash a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Make sure any of you, if you're a football fan, if they don't just talk about Palace, they talk about all types of football. So go and check it out. They do all sorts of watch along. So go and check it out. Eagle Eye Football. And like I said, Sean Thomas at Sean Thomas, or How We See Things across all your podcast providers. Let's Go Football. And it's at Black Rain on Twitter. But yeah, free Palestine. Free Palestine, free Palestine. Stop the occupation, end the siege of Gaza, end the killing, end the murder and slaughter and the genocide. in Palestine, and the killing in Sudan, and the murder and the enslavement of young children in the Congo. Peace, love, light, always. Win, lose, draw, Glazers out, fucking Ineos with their bullshit out. I need to see results, mate, before I get giddy, before twerking for quarter sexuals. And all you positive sexuals can also do one. This channel is not for you. This is the therapy channel. Here, it's all honesty with chest. We say it with all honesty, and we say it with our chest. So love and light, people. Take care of yourselves. Rich, anything else you want to shout out quickly?
No, just looking forward to this game.
There you go. Big up.
Obviously.
I'll have to try and get you on, man, after the game if I can. If you don't go to the game, I'll try to get you on for the match reaction. Let you gloat. Most likely come on here and gloat. Yeah. Big up to you, P. I appreciate you. Good night, people. Love and light. Peace. Take care.